54.
Yeah.
I was a chief at the time on the Sunbird SR-15 out of New London, Connecticut. And I can remember they had a fleet exercise of they called it a submarine missing, sub-sunk. And Becuna was the submarine. And it was a fleet exercise where after she went out and supposedly went down and sat on the bottom of off Long Island, they had a scramble, and the destroyers went out hunting for her, and they finally found their rescue buoy. And I remember making they call it 4-point moor, where they put four big buoys out there, and we tied up to them.
So this way you straddled kind of over the submarine?
Right over the submarine, to rescue the people rescue the sailors out of the submarine, and also to bring the submarine up, which is quite an operation. So they took the rescue chamber, and they went down and took some of the crew out of it. And that's what they lowered it down, and you took about 7 or 8 sails at a time. You could bring them to the surface, and the sub was sitting down about 200 feet. So it took we only made a couple of runs. They didn't do the whole crew, just a couple of runs to get some of the sailors out, as far as making sure it worked. And after that, then they took some hoses down and connected up to the ballast tanks. So that was one of my jobs. I dove down with the hose. And the valves are marked, one for blow and one for vent. And they're marked with welding spots where they're like oval or a dot or a dash, and you can feel them. Since you can't see them, you can feel them because they're marked different. And I had deep sea diving helmet and all on.
Yeah.
And I was one of quite a few divers that went down to connect some of the hoses up. And after all the hoses were hooked up, then they bled air into the chambers. They had a line down to the sub, and you lowered, when you went down, you just lowered you was heavy, and you just followed that line down to the sub, okay. And then you landed right on the deck of the sub.
All right.
And then you had a sense of feeling where you were all the time, whether it was fore or aft. And then when you got on the sub, then you asked for the hoses. Okay. You didn't take the hoses down. You went down and found your spot first. Yeah. And then they sent the hoses to you.
Okay.
And after you connected them up, then they would bring you up.
Yeah.
And after so many minutes, you only had allowed a certain amount of time down there because of the decompression. And but we did all right. We got about 4 or 5 hoses hooked up to the sub, yeah. And they blew it, and they brought the sub to the surface by blowing it. But it took a good day or 2 days to do it.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun.
So the only time you were on the Becuna was on its deck, 200 feet.
Yeah. And it was trying to think, yeah, that's the only time I've ever been on it, except for down here in Philadelphia. But it was the flagship of the submarine force at the time.
Yeah.
Well, they had an escape chamber on the sub, which would hold 2 or 3 at a time that they would climb in, and had an escape appliance they would put on. And after they get in and they shut the hatch to the submarine, then they would fill this chamber up with water. And once then they equalize the pressure with the outside.
Yeah.
And then they would open the outside hatch.
Okay.
And then they had a line attached to the surface. And they would follow that line on up real slow.
You control yourself.
You'd go as fast as you'd exhale slowly, or if you could see your bubbles, you followed your bubbles up, and you went up. And of course, once you got out, the last one outside the chamber on the sub, he would close that outer door,
Okay.
and then the people inside would drain that chamber and then load it up for next crew.
So they could only do 2 at a time?
2 or 3 at a time, yeah. That's all it was, because the area was only about 6 feet in diameter. So only a couple of people could get in. But it worked fine.